I've waited a large portion of my life to see Urahara's Bankai, and my only one complaint from episode 42 is that we just didn't get to see more of it. But I get it. Asuka's ability to death dealing is dangerous. Survival was a balance of strategy and aggression for Urahara. However,
Bankai. Kannon Biraki benihime aratame.
Urahara's Bankai uses the direct name of the Buddhist deity Kannon. She's the goddess of mercy. She's also one of the most beloved and widely venerated deities in Japanese Buddhism. She's the Japanese manifestation of the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, known for her balanced compassion and unwavering commitment to relieving the suffering of all sentient beings across Japan. They turn to her in times of difficulty, believing that she will hear their prayers and come to their aid. If you think about it, this is essentially Urahara. Also, before you get too far into the video, if you enjoy manga and anime content, I'm Zaku Zealot. Subscribe and turn on alerts. I do deep dives into Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen. I review various other manga and anime. Also, there's a Discord link located in the description below if you'd like to join my growing community. Now, something cool about Kubo's writing that I noticed is that when he uses the name of a Buddhist theme or a Buddhist deity, he ties a portion of that actual deity into the foundational blocks of that person's journey. For example, Urahara and Kannon's connection started way back in volume 6 with Urahara's poem. Yes, there is no fate for us. Only those who are swallowed by ignorance and fear and miss a step fall into the rapid river called fate. In Buddhism, a bodhisattva like Kannon delays their own nirvana because they understand the intertwined nature of life and death, as well as casting away fear. In other sects of Buddhism, it's even stated that some bodhisattvas can traverse all realms of samsara to show liberation from Naraka all the way up to the realm of Deva. It's just like Kannon, who goes by other names like Bato Kannon, entering the realm of beasts to help those who suffer. Removing attachments and ridding ignorance, everything that Urahara taught Ichigo is connected through Kannon. You can go back to their training. It was based on the concept of removing fear. Urahara was already teaching Ichigo his most important lessons if you think about it. No matter how powerful Ichigo was, if he was going to submit to fear, he was never going to be able to be the savior of the world. This is who Urahara naturally is. I believe a personal part of his journey from the nest of maggots to becoming a captain, then going through the whole Vizar incident and being exiled, and then welcomed back into the Shinigami world. It's like someone who goes through the entire wheel of samsara, going from suffering all the way through liberation, and they never lose themselves. Urahara is a lot like Master Roshi from Dragon Ball in my opinion. If you look back at Roshi, his biggest lessons to Goku and Krillin never really involved fighting or how to do the perfect Kamehameha. If I remember correctly, it was all about discipline and dignity. Work hard, study well, eat, sleep plenty. That was the Turtle Hermit way. That's also built into Urahara, and as we know, Kubo takes a lot of inspirations from Toriyama. We wouldn't really have Bleach the way we would today if it wasn't for those inspirations, and it all manifests into the first fight that Ichigo has against Ikkaku. If you think about what he told Ikkaku, he said that Urahara never really taught him how to swing a blade or how to swing a sword or anything. He just taught him the philosophy around what it means to hold a blade.
What you do not need in battle is fear. Nothing will come of it.
Stepping away from just looking at Urahara's character, you can see further how Kubo builds Kannon directly into Urahara through his role as a scientist by the creation of the Hōgyoku. A bodhisattva delays their nirvana. I view that as Urahara creating the Hōgyoku and choosing to place it back and never creating another one. However, the creation of the Hōgyoku itself, that's a direct tie-in to the Sentamani jewel, which represents light that answers the need to dispel ignorance and is often depicted as a flaming jewel held by the bodhisattva Kannon. Now, before we get to the best part of this, because I've been asked this before, and I want to acknowledge that not every connection is intentional. For example, if I write a story with heavy Christian themes, it is only natural that somewhere throughout my story, I'm probably going to have a moment or a character that you can say, oh, I can go find that in the Bible. And you probably will be able to, even if that was my intention or not. Now, it's pretty evident that when it comes to Urahara and Kannon, I mean, it's in the name of his Bankai. So that connection was really, really intentional. However, when it comes to building a character out, as an amateur writer myself, I believe it's a lot easier to look at an inspiration and take something from their personality that you want to incorporate into your character, or take something from their philosophy that you want to incorporate into their character, even taking something that they have done, like an action, like the Sentamani jewel that Kannon holds, and giving that to a character in your story. However, taking a description of a character, something unique about a Buddhist deity, and then transforming that into a legitimate power source that not only works in battle, looks great, and is absolutely overpowered, this is why we read Bleach. This is why we love Kubo.
Kannon Biraki benihime aratameの能力は触れたものを作り変える能力っす。
So who is Kannon? We see the direct naming, the link between the Hōgyoku and the Sentamani jewel. However, what exactly makes Urahara so powerful? Why is it that just basing his Bankai on Kannon makes him pretty much almost untouchable? Well, it comes down to the name of its release. Kannon Biraki benihime aratame. This translates to Kannon opening. In Japanese, it functions as a double meaning. It refers to the double doors that swing open from the middle, exactly like the doors at traditional Kannon shrines and altars when they are open to reveal the goddess inside. Now, benihime we know stands for Crimson Princess. Aratame, on the other hand, stands for modification, revision, or restructure. When you put the entire phrase together, it translates to modification of the Crimson Princess at the doors of Kannon. This brings us right back to Kannon's core identity in Buddhist texts like the Lotus Sutra. She is famous for her ability to hear the suffering of all living beings and alter her physical form to save them. Kannon can take on 33 different transformations, shifting from a gentle figure to a multi-armed warrior depending on what the situation requires. Philosophically, that's what made Askin and Urahara one of my top fights to begin with. Urahara prepares and creates for situations that sometimes might only have a small chance of actually happening. As a representation of a bodhisattva, what may seem malicious at times is, in my opinion, Urahara's compassion and desire for a better outcome for everyone. He can bring together Shinigami, Fullbringers, and a Rancor and lead them all to success. Everything that connects Urahara to Kannon was shown in this fight against Askin. His compassion for others, his ability to sacrifice, his ability to bring people together, and having a battle worthy of being a top war asset in the field general for the Shinigami. And it's obvious that this wasn't some easy fight for Urahara. Askin obviously pushed Urahara into a tight spot, but when you look back, I believe Urahara wanted to exhaust every single option that he had and that he prepared for before he went into his Bankai. He even went as far as to still attack Askin while he was poisoned with his Shikai, which I was kind of shocked to still see. I thought he would have went into Bankai right away, but that goes into Urahara's philosophy. He is a researcher. Perfection or even seeing something that goes against what he can create himself is not what he values. In some ways, being a scientist is a lot like a warrior. You're always faced with various hurdles, walls, and steep mountains to overcome. Urahara did everything he could. He did exhaust every option until there were no options left but to essentially use his Bankai and restructure the rules of the game. To me, his Bankai almost feels like it goes against his philosophy as a researcher, even though it has the ability to restructure and it's very, very unfair. It's not really what Urahara is striving for, even though it's a representation of what lies directly at his heart. I'm gonna keep it real. There really isn't much in this life that's worth waiting 20 years to see, especially in media or entertainment where things just come and go up and down. Something you thought was cool 10 years ago may not be cool 10 years into the future. However, when it comes to Bleach and getting to Urahara's Bankai, this was worth it. No matter if you just thought the Bankai was cool or you noticed the symbolism, you don't care about the symbolism and you just wanted to watch my video, I appreciate you. I think we're all in the same boat when we say Urahara versus Askin. It delivered. That's all for me. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on alerts. I do have a Discord. The link is located in the description below. And peace out till next time.